Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is another night for the Hillbilly Think Tank here in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. It is the 19th of November, and it is just a great day to be alive and to be a teacher in Kentucky. I haven't had a job that I've enjoyed so much as I do this job. You know, when I left the military, a lot of us, it was a little bit tough to move on after you've done something for over 20 years. But at the same time, when I left the military, I was ready to retire. And it took me only 7 years to find a career that I really, really love. Um, and that is teaching. Well, before I go on, I got to remember I'm going to give a shout out to students that I wish were mine, but they're not. And that is my grandkids, Aiden, Abner, Aaron. Hope you're having a great night. But anyway, recently it was time for one of my two annual visits by my assistant principal in the school I teach to find out, hey, am I tracking? Am I doing right by the students? And, that was one of those periods where I'd had 2 weeks of teaching a certain subject, and I just wasn't sure if the kids were getting it. So that made me doubt myself. I'm like, I love this job, but if they're not all getting it, am I doing them a service? Well, one of the kids made my day. Actually, quite a few of them did. The whole class did that was observed. But one of the kids told the principal she didn't think she was a good writer, didn't like writing before she had my class, but she said that I explained it so well and break it down so well that she feels confident now. I was about to have a heart attack for a week, just wondering if I was doing right. So it's good to be doing something that I felt as good about as I felt when I was in the military. Loved all those years. I was able to serve in the hospital corps, take care of sailors and Marines and other branches too, but primarily I took care of sailors and Marines. And nothing quite gave me as much of a sense of accomplishment as providing medical care for folks that serve our nation in some of the toughest times and toughest places. But teaching's doing that. I feel like I'm giving back to the community again. The kids, a lot of them are eating it up, you know, and it's a very fulfilling job and it makes me proud to be a Kentuckian. So I hope everyone out there has something that they enjoy just as much. No matter what you're doing, if it's flipping burgers and seeing people's smiling face when you give them a really good product, like I can get at Freddy's, in Radcliffe, and now here in Elizabethtown, it seems like those folks over there are always so happy when they give me a burger. Nothing beats being happy at your job, right? A lot of places you don't necessarily see that, but there are places where that employer values not just their customer, but the folks that work at their place. And a valued person who's delivering you a great service, that just adds to your experience, doesn't it? So I hope that's really what I'm doing because I feel like I am now in teaching. I've got great customers, my students. I feel like they understand that I want them to learn and use these viable skills that we're learning in English language arts. And I try to tell them, hey, I wouldn't be who I was, wouldn't have been as successful in the Navy as I was if it wasn't for the fact that reading and writing, man, it took being able to do that well to be able to be a good medical practitioner in the Navy. Well, hopefully what you're doing brings you joy too. Y'all, don't have much to say, but just to say I'm happy to be employed in my favorite state of Kentucky and living in this wonderful county of Hardin County. Hope y'all are having a great week and stay warm. You know, a little chilly today, but not too cold, right? 50s is fine by me. And I'm hoping that you stay dry tomorrow through the rain. And don't forget, vote for me. All right. Magistrate, District 3, Hardin County. Love your neighbors as yourself. We are our brother's keeper and our sister's keeper, and we're all in this together. Have a great evening. And to my few students who told me they found me on this channel, have a great night. Hopefully, you're already sleeping. It's way too late. I should be. Ciao.